Hello, my dear friend. Welcome to our channel, Father Sam Videos. The theme of our reflection is all bishops, archbishops, priests, pastors, and all church leaders must listen to this. Feel free to share the same message you will get in all church platforms. Share it where the leadership of the church will enjoy the message. It is very necessary because God has spoken to us through this message and through his servant, Professor Charles Soludo. And I pray through you it gets to the target audience. God bless you as you listen and then share the message.
This is a very trying moment for the Christendom generally. In Nigeria, and even more so in the southeast of Nigeria. But an important question that I will leave with you is that as you ponder these 20 million, that's those on the register, are they still there? 20 million on the register, how many are there? And in the southeast, this question is even much more pertinent. Because in the southeast particularly, the fastest growing religion today is idolatry. It's on the upsurge, massive ascendancy, and those populating it are the Christians. Even some of them answer Christian, but he's carrying his shrine, and so on. All over the bushes and forests, wherever these chaps are, the first thing they do is to have a massive shrine. Now in every community, in Anambra, in Abia, in Imo, in Enugu, in Ebonyi, and so on. Every community now there is a massive resurgence. Why do they leave? Why are they leaving? In other words, since this is a moment of retreat, that the leadership of the Church of Nigeria must pose that kind of question. It's a time for introspection. A life unexamined is not worth living. At some point, you must be able to re-examine your purpose. Are we still serving the purpose? Have our ways become in conflict with the purpose? Or do we have a defined purpose, but our means of getting there now in conflict and in contradistinction, that the people themselves see through it and they think this is all a joke and they are living? Many people are saying the church and so on, religion has become business. The transactions have overwhelmed the transformations. Does the church still engage in evangelization? What are the key performance indicators that the leadership of the church provides for the ministers of the church? In each parish, what are the KPIs? Is it the number of brick and mortar projects that are built? Or is it in terms of how many members who actually are on the register are still with you? How many persons who are non-Christians have been converted over the previous 1 year? Can we have it in the register as part of the KPIs for each parish? How many have left? Your Grace, there is something dangerous that is upon us. In 2009, my 78-year-old father was kidnapped. After dinner, I went to his house in the village here. Before then, that same year, Tony Mas, the popular Tony Mas, was kidnapped. I think the next year, Poco Bros, and then GUO was kidnapped, I think from here, from a church. This trend has continued. And if you look at the characteristics of the people doing this, now it's become an organized, lucrative business empire with central command and control. And at the heart of it all is idolatry. We've now gotten to a position where these guys don't care about anybody, whether you are primate, whether you are pope, or whether you are bishop, whether you are... Because there is a clash of religion. They think you are the problem. The church is the problem, is the only institution standing between them and taking over the entire society. When they were coming, they started off with a narrative in the southeast. We are here to liberate you. The Fulanis are in the forests and everywhere about to envelop you. They will go to the checkpoints, kill the police, kill the soldiers, take over their AK-47. Now, after they carry the AK-47, how do they feed the next day in the bush? Nobody asked that question. How do they continue to feed month to month, year to year? They have to feed. They have to survive. They have families. Now they come out to grab people because for ransom. And at the heart of it all is that the first thing they have there is their big idols, big shrines. If we don't collectively challenge and tackle the source of the warped ideology, the ideas that fuel this in the first instance, that continues to enable them to have continuous supply of young men going into the bush and wanting to carry arms to go on a kidnapping and so on and so forth, because it is now the most lucrative business in town. Nigeria published data that about 2.4 trillion was paid as ransom. Did you see that? For every 1 naira published, we estimate that at least 5 naira was not reported. So if you multiply that by 5, you'll be getting more than at least more than 10 trillion. Even oil block is not as lucrative. But there is something also fueling it. And this is where the church also comes in. When I ask why do they leave? The lucrative criminality, but also we now have a society where we celebrate something for nothing. Where even in Christianity, we now preach that you can have a crown without a cross. We tell people that you can have wealth without work. That God is a money doubler. Only pay your tithe and then you go and close yourself with blanket. God will quadruple it in 10 times. We're no longer telling people about responsible Christianity. No, it is the hard one. If we tell them no cross, no crown, then you will not be the popular priest. It's when you tell them, a young apprentice, you will become a billionaire by the end of it. Say, yeah, I claim it. How? The youths, 9 a.m., people are in the beer parlors drinking beer. But they expect to build a skyscraper tomorrow. How? A society where you no longer ask people, what do you do for a living? It's a society that has no future. In about 2012, I addressed the Catholic Bishops Conference. And I did make a suggestion. And everybody laughed. I said, in the Catholic Church we have this prayer against bribery and corruption. We pray it almost every alternate Sunday. The other one is prayer against for Nigeria in distress. I said, okay, now you have got the third liturgy. And this applies to all our Christian denominations. We used to have 4 parts of a mass. It's introductory rite, liturgy of the word, liturgy of the Eucharist, and then concluding rites. Those are the 4 parts. I said, you now have the 3rd liturgy, liturgy of fundraising. Okay? Now, and that becomes the main part of most services. The part where we talk about money. And I said, can we be the church that then says, okay, we'll pray against bribery and corruption. Then an officer, a government official, whose total monthly salary is not more than 200,000, comes to the church and makes a donation of 2 million. Or he shows up in church, whoever is presiding announces, now that we have this one has come, it means our problems are over. That was the day they are going to do special fundraising. And he comes and pledges 2 million. I will say, kneel down for special prayers. How is he going to get the 2 million? That's where it starts. And I did make a proposal. I then said, can we then lead by saying, okay, let's make a rule. If you are in public office, we're not going to accept any donation from you until you leave office. And 5 years after you've left office, everybody laughed. More like, how now? It sounds like a joke, but go to think about it. Today, during this season in the Southeast, bazaar all over the place. Who are the chairmen of the bazaars? This one has come down. So IK Malaysia. Peter of South. This one. What do they do? Even the ministers of God do not ask that he who partakes of the proceeds of theft is also a thief. But we can no longer pretend and be saying, no, we don't know, we don't care. No, the society must care. Because this is at the foundation of the criminality that is ongoing. We celebrate wealth without work. And if the church continues to celebrate this, a society gets what it celebrates. We're not teaching people to work. That's how what we are stand in this part of the world. So please, while we go onto this retreat, since we are going onto retreat, that's why I'm raising these issues, that there are deeper existential threats. Deeper existential threats to the society itself, because we have put our values on upside down. And the church, as the last man standing, must not be seen to flow in that direction. Otherwise, there's no redemption for society. The church must be able to stand up. Let the church be that last man to say, sorry, evil is evil. Let's continue to repeat it. Let's continue to repeat it, because that's the only way we can rescue the future. And I want to leave you